I'm from the NBC program Now, and looking around seeing all these cameras, you talked about words versus deeds, and it's clear that this war of words is getting covered. Does it frustrate you that some of the deeds of your organization, the positive deeds, don't get this kind of coverage?
Well, I'll tell you, sir, in a parable. My teacher, the Honorable Khallid Muhammad, said to me one day before he departed from us, he said, "Brother, there once was a donkey that fell in a ditch. And everyone that came by took up a stone and threw it at the donkey. And they threw so many stones at the donkey till they filled up the ditch, and the donkey walked out." So he said, "Brother, remember, every knock is a boost." The press reflects the fear and the anguish of whites in general. And so when I came to national public attention, it's understandable that I would be beaten up like that. But as you get to know me better, through these kinds of things, you will see that I am not a boogeyman. And you will see that I do not wish you evil. You will see that I am deeply concerned about what's happening to our people in America, and I'm deeply concerned with what is happening to America. Well, at first, if you don't like me, and then maybe after a while, you'll see some value in me. So the media has come out to hear what I had to say, and I'm very grateful. What they do with it tomorrow is another thing entirely. But hopefully, at some point in the future, the media will see Louis Farrakhan cleaning up black people, reforming black people, turning black people towards self to love one another, not turning them against white people to hate you. For in reality, you cannot stop us from doing what God requires of us if we don't stop ourselves. That's right. So the burden is no longer white people. We have to get our own foot out of our own way, and all the progress that we want to make, God will assist us in making that progress. And so I will close with this little anecdote. I want to say categorically, this sister has been waving her hand.
Sister.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Asantwa Nkrumah Ture. I work for a small local paper here in Washington called the Pan-African Roots. First of all, let me say Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam. Let me secondly say to Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, thank you. You know, we don't often say it to each other enough, but we need to say thank you to the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam for over 60-year history of cleaning up and reforming our people. Thank you very much. Did I have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Farrakhan, let me assure you that many of us, if not most of us, are not only independent of mind, but we're also independent of pocketbook. Mr. Farrakhan, I've heard you many, many times. You are a very brilliant teacher. So I think for our people gathered here, we need a history lesson. To give us one. Many people call you and the Nation of Islam anti-Semitic. But when you ask them to define what is a Semite, they cannot answer. So my brother and my teacher, I would respectfully ask you to please teach us and instruct us on the difference between a Jew, a Zionist, a Semite, and a Hebrew. Thank you.
Now, this will be the last question. I wrote something, I don't know where it is, on anti-Semitism. Well, It's all right. I think I know what I wrote. You know, we have been charged with this. And I really want to state here for the press and for the world that I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms and manifestations. I denounce racism in all its forms and manifestations. If I believed that I were an anti-Semite, meaning somebody who hates somebody else simply because of their faith, I would be unfit to call myself a servant of God or a member of the righteous. I am not now, nor have I ever been anti-Semitic. Now, what is the definition, the true definition of that word? Well, we know that anti means against. And Semite is referring to those persons who originated in the Middle Eastern area of the world that have a base in African, Asian language and culture. Among these are Jews or Hebrews, Arabs, the Phoenicians, all of that group in there. The languages are Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic, and one or two more. These are the Semitic people. Now, the ADL has narrowed that definition to mean exclusively anti-Jewish. Now, to be a Jew, is it a race or is it a faith? But there are those who see it as a national identity that does not have anything to do with faith. Now, in Israel today, there are several kinds of Jews. There are the Falasha Jews, the Sephardic Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews, all of whom are bound by the common denominator of faith, but race has come in there to play a negative role because the Sephardic Jews and the Falasha Jews are not really equal in sharing power in Israel. So now when you talk about anti-Semitic, according to the definition, if I were against that body of people, I might find myself against myself. Go ahead. So now I must ask the question, why do they use that term? For what purpose? The ADL and other Zionists use the term to stifle legitimate criticism of Zionism and the state of Israel and the Zionist policies of the state of Israel. They also use that term to stifle legitimate criticism of the errant behavior of Jewish people vis-a-vis their relationship with the non-Jewish populations of the world. This is not right. The Jews cannot be held above criticism. And if a prophet is to point out your wrong, don't accuse the prophet of being anti-Semitic when the prophet's role is to change your behavior to make you more acceptable to God. And this is why the prophets were killed and beaten and imprisoned. And this is why many of us are suffering from a false charge, anti-Semitic. Semitism. Now, whenever the ADL and the Zionists feel that somebody is not bowing to their will, they drop that on them, anti-Semite. Now, Mayor Dinkins has done everything to please Jewish people except just go on outright and say, I've changed my faith. But he was accused of being anti-Semite. Mayor Tom Bradley had a magnificent relationship with Jews in the city of Los Angeles for 20 years, but when he didn't do what they wanted him to do in denouncing me as quickly as they thought he should, they charged him with being anti-Semitic. And because Nelson Mandela visited Libya and Arafat, if you recall, Mr. Koppel wanted Mr. Mandela to say something negative against those persons, which he said he could not do. And some have called Nelson Mandela anti-Semitic. They've called Jesse Jackson anti-Semitic. They've called Percy Sutton anti-Semitic. They've called Andrew Young anti-Semitic. These brothers are not anti-Semitic. And if they have legitimate criticism of Jews and their relationship with black people, why can't you accept the criticism and then see if it's true and then correct yourself? But to say, ooh, look at them, they hate Jews, they hate us all, this is a bold lie. And it's wicked at the core. Lastly, even President Bush and members of his cabinet were called anti-Semitic because they were acting too slow on a $10 billion loan or gift to the state of Israel. So I'm saying to you, there's an old saying that I heard. It used to be that an anti-Semite was one who disliked Jews. Now anti-Semite is anyone the Jews dislike. Thank you, and may God bless all of you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
The remarks of Khallid Muhammad were made last November 29th at Keene College in New Jersey. Before his dismissal, Mr. Muhammad was the Nation of Islam's national spokesman. Tomorrow morning on C-SPAN, it's our journalist roundtable discussion of the top stories of the week. Our guests for the program this week will be Anne-Marie Kilday of the Dallas Morning News, John Farrell of the Boston Globe, and George Condon of the Copley News Service. Join in the live discussion on the news of the week beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow on C-SPAN.